Hello and welcome to the MHG podcast. As usual, life could be a little bit miserable, life could be a little bit dark, and I'm here today to hopefully bring you a little bit of light and a little bit of joy. On my own today because life gets in the way, so there is no Stu. Hopefully Stu will be back very, very soon. So for now, you are just going to have to put up with me and me alone, and not having my little Jiminy Cricket in my ear telling me when I'm going too far, and to guide me along. So yeah, I don't know what structure to do. I've got a couple of games to talk about today, and that's pretty much what I'll do. I'll keep it short and sweet as possible, really. So first up, no segue, no Stu, no segue. We don't do segues without Stu. So yeah, anyway, first up, we're going to talk about a game I started playing just before Christmas. I'd been playing on and off into the new year, and that's War Hospital, which is it's a kind of mini colony sim management, resource management, war game type affair where basically you run a World War One field hospital based, I think, in France. It's on the Western Front anyway. And the idea is you run this field hospital, and soldiers come in after getting shot, injured, whatever, ill, and you basically need to triage them, operate if need be, and get them back on the battlefield. That is essentially the game. That's the main loop. You get you people come in. You've got to decide: can you save them? Is it worth treating? Get them back out. Maybe put them into different positions. The war's going on around you, so there's major events that will happen that you need to work around. And it's a really interesting concept for a game. It's bleak, as you'd expect from something like this, like really, really bleak. So you'll get points where there's you need to worry about the morale of the people who work at the hospital, at the field hospital, sorry. You have to sort of then decide, who not deserves to live and who deserves to die, but is it worth wasting resources on saving this person? And you get an idea as they come into triage of, this person's got a good chance of surviving, this person hasn't, because maybe they've got an infection that goes along with a bullet wound or something like that. And you might actually decide how many people have we actually got working in the field hospital, how many nurses are there, how many surgeons are there. You then have to start dealing with psychological issues and all those different bits that come into it. And as people come in and you decide what to do, you might be able to save theoretically 6 people that come in at once, but you might only have one surgeon, and that surgeon gets tired and needs to rest. So you need to decide people's lives and people's fates, because you can't have one surgeon operating on 6 people really quickly. It's not going to happen. So how do you decide who's going to live, who's going to survive? And the obvious answer is, well, those who have got a high percentage chance, yes, they are the ones you initially go for. Try and save them, get them back out, put them into another position, maybe even get them working in the field hospital. But you might still have to sacrifice someone like that. Your surgeons who you have, for example, everyone gets tired, so you've got engineers that work there, you've got nurses, surgeons, there's plenty of people that come into it, and they all work in the field hospital, they need rests and everything like that. So imagine how you are when you're playing a theme hospital or a 2 point game or something like that, where you've got to manage shift patterns and that, so you've got to do that here. But what the game throws at you then is a major event. So you might also just get tons of people coming in because there's been an attack or something like that, and you've got to get them all fixed up. So you might have still 3-4 surgeons maybe that are doing their bit, but they're all going to have to work through tiredness because you've got to get these people back out there. It's imperative they get back out there, for example. And all there is balancing. It's really, really bleak at points. The problem I've got with this game is the moral decisions soon became to me just a thing of, right, can I save this one? Can I not save this one? And it all just became a bit normalised and a bit bland in a way. It's just like it became a gameplay loop rather than actual moral decisions. I don't think there was enough humanity there to actually care about individual patients. There wasn't enough like backstory filling, and I don't know whether it needed something else there to make it a bit rather than just stats. There was no personality in there, which I think this really needs to hit home, because the idea behind it's right. But when you look at something else that takes this bleakness, so you look at this War of Mine that takes this bleakness to it, but the characters that, even though they are quote unquote disposable, all have a personality, all have some kind of backstory. You start to feel for them. That wasn't the case here. Everyone was sort of nameless on the whole, and it lacked because of that. Now, it is a solid game. The loop's fine, and there's nothing mechanically wrong with it. I just didn't care about the people in the end. So yeah, it's not a game where I'm saying don't play it or anything like that. It's got some good ideas. And I think maybe a couple of patches, maybe two. I don't know what's missing. I'm kind of still playing it, which is really weird because I don't dislike it, but it's just, yeah, it lacks personality, and I'm desensitized now to the bleakness that was there initially. And yeah, I don't know. It needs some kind of humanity there, or just something to add. Not a bad game, but not one that's really essential. Now, moving on, something that is essential and could be more removed from the bleakness of War Hospital is Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, which is a Like a Dragon game. It's a Yakuza game. And because it's from the Like a Dragon series initially, so Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon, where you've got Ichiban Kasuga, Kazuma Kiryu's in it as well. Kiryu's in it. But it's more the Ichiban one, so it's turn-based combat again. But with that, it takes the game out of its Japanese setting, out of there, and moves it to Hawaii. And yeah, it's something. It's just really bizarre. It's like full on Yakuza. It's incredible in places. It's over the top. It's funny. It's got drama. It's got tons and tons of personality. And how they keep popping these out, I don't know. Hawaii is just a great place to discover in the Yakuza world, and I'm glad they've kind of moved out of the usual setting. Like a Dragon-ish, that was fun in feudal Japan, but it was alright. It wasn't the best I've played, but this just takes it back. It's zany as hell. All different sort of like things you can do in and around Hawaii. It's kind of got like a business tycoon type thing going on about it in many, many places, but also it has got all the action and the crazy story and the camaraderie between Ichiban and Kazuma work really, really, really well. And I'm a few hours into it, and so far it's probably one of my favourite Yakuza Like a Dragon games there's been. Totally blown away by what it offers, and I don't want to say too much because there's lots of surprises. It does the usual Yakuza thing where I think it took me like 3 to 4 hours before it really even decided it was going to hint at opening it up and doing all the things. The initial intro is just like over 2 hours long, and you have to know that going in. You have to be aware of that, but you don't mind because it's Yakuza. You know that's going to happen with a Yakuza game, and yeah, it's it's just more of the same. You can go to the arcades, you got all that in there. It's got like Sega bass fishing built in. And I spent probably a bit too much time playing Sega bass fishing. You can do usual claw grabs. There's your gacha machines, like all your various activities you can do. I still don't understand shogi, but I still try and play it, and it's just so much fun. It's Yakuza, just more over the top. Acting is just as hammy as it needs to be. It's so perfect with all of that, and I just having the best time with it. I've kind of been playing it on and off in between trying to get Cyberpunk 2077 finished. But this is kind of my next, right, I'm all in on this. So once Cyberpunk's done, I'm all in on this because I love the Yakuza games. I very rarely finish them. I kind of get to a point and then something else takes over. But this one is just, this feels like it's grabbing me. I love it. I absolutely do love this game. You see, I'm trying to skirt around and explain anything because I think you do need to go into it and understanding what you're getting into without knowing what you're getting into. So again, it's all built up, sort of like you create your party, and everyone has their different abilities that they have. The job system, I think they call it in the RPG world, which is really good, and they all come together and they work together. So you've got some synergy stuff going on there. There's loads of different ways to earn money in there. It's kind of got this weird delivery game in there, which is just odd. Really, really odd. And there's got like this Animal Crossing element to it as well, and that's you just don't expect that in a Yakuza game, but it works really well. There's a Pokemon thing in there as well. Again, I think they've done that before. Well, I have done that before because I remember it, but that's in there again. It's I don't know. There's like dating mechanics in there. Karaoke's back, obviously. The arcades are there, and very much like Cyberpunk, I think the side missions in the Yakuza games work really, really well, and they all add something. They're not just simple fetch quests for the most part. There's elements to it that add story, which I really, really like, and you feel like the people you come across are all leading their own individual lives, which is really, really good. There's like a morality system in there as well, so you build up personalities and stuff like that based on your actions and what you do. So all that is done really naturally. I like the idea of things building naturally based on how you play the game. It's something I've always wanted to see, like in sports games, rather than just I'll put my stats into this. Just like, you're doing this kind of thing in a sports game more often, then that gets better, and expect something else. And this is what this does in terms of a personality. So you've got like your charisma, your intelligence, your passion, all things like that are in there as well. You create obviously relationships with other people. You've got dungeon crawling in there as well. It's just got so many different things that you can do. I don't even know, what else to say about what's in there, because you could spend like almost a good 20 minutes talking about each individual element. But what you get is just one of those most amazing packages that just adds something that you've never sort of like really got in a game, even more so than other Yakuza games in the past. It just blends so much stuff. And I've often complained previously about the idea that games try to do too much. I'll just concentrate on the one thing you're good at. And you could go, well, let's argue this about Yakuza. Let's argue this about Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. But somehow it works. Everything just works and blends together just absolutely perfectly. And The start of 2024 has just been absolutely brilliant as it is, and we've got Tekken 8 came out. That's really good. I'll talk about that down the line. But loads of really good indies have already hit, and then we've got like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is just absolutely sublime. I've not even really gone in on the combat, and the combat's just so fun. I'm just having a whale of a time with it. And yeah, even if you've never played a Yakuza game before or like a Dragon game, this is a great jumping in point. I don't really need to have known much about it. You might not understand why Kazuma and Ichiban are so great as characters, but you will soon come to learn that by playing it. But it is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Worth every penny of the, 50 quid it probably is on Steam, 60, 70 quid on other places, other stores. Verified on Steam Deck as well, which is absolutely brilliant. One point I must note, and this is pretty shady and something I'm not too keen on, and do better, Sega, is New Game Plus is locked behind the deluxe version, I think it is, which is, that's not good. Don't do that. That's really not good at all. Put other stuff. If you want to do a deluxe version and you want to put your skins or different outfits behind it, fine. Don't put a normal feature like New Game Plus behind it. Don't like it. I mean, personally, I won't go and play it a second time because I generally don't play games a second time. But I know a lot of people do, and to make them pay again, no, that's poor. Patch that if you can, is what I would say. Get that out of it. But yeah, that's the only real negative. It is a bad negative, but that is the only real negative you can say about it, because overall the game is absolutely sublime. Anyway, as I said, it's a short one this week. No Stu to shut me up, so I'll shut myself up. And as usual, you can find us on all the socials. We're on X. We are Discord. Come and check us out on our Discord. If you do like what we do, please consider a Patreon subscription or Ko-Fi. Help us keep the lights on. Hopefully next week or the week after Stu is back, but if not, you'll have me. And until then, stay safe and stay sane. Goodbye.